p.m. Yes, it is, and it's time for Dinner with Nanny, Bubby. And we've got a great show set up for everybody today. Let's see who's here. I can't even read it. It's the creator. I can't read it. So anyway, let's just get back to all of you guys. And we have a great show here today. We've got Brenda Prinzavalli coming on today, and she's going to show us how to make Marcona almonds, Marcona style almonds, which are just phenomenal, and they're very expensive, especially if you buy them at Trader Joe's, which is about one of the most expensive things. Hey Carolyn, how are you? Congratulations on tonight. I love Marcona almonds, and so we're going to make them. But before we get into the Marcona almonds, what we're going to do right now is I just want to track backwards, if you will, on what we did in yesterday's show. And so I just want to show you that I think that when it comes to making these tomatoes into sauce, that you really just have to get your hands dirty. And I don't mean that metaphorically. So what I realized, since yesterday was my very first time of doing that, is that you actually, I was trying to use a grapefruit spoon or a knife to shell them out. And what I really realized is that this is a job where you just take your thumbs and you just stick them in with your nails and you just pull out the seeds. Same thing if we parboil them, which we're going to do on Thursday. You can just pull out those skins and drop it in the bowl. You just have to have like a waste bowl and just work it with your hands. Like, think of yourself as being an old Italian on the farm. And those are the San Marzanos, which really don't have too much on the inside, but the cherry tomatoes do. And that's when, if you saw at the end of the show yesterday, I just went crazy I was not even dicing the tomatoes with a knife at that point. I was actually just tearing them into dices. And so I think that, you know, when you want to get at one with nature, and when you're making sauce from tomatoes, not out of a can, but literally out of the garden, it's just getting your hands dirty, working with your hands to get out what you need to make it healthier and more fun to eat. And so I just wanted to share that with you. I wanted to remind you that Thursday we're going to do the second set of tomato sauce out of these fresh tomatoes, which is actually, we're going to do them by parboiling them, doing an ice bath on them, hi Verica, and then peeling the skins right off. And many who are Italian, their fathers and grandfathers, mothers and grandmothers, peel the skins, take out the seeds, and then make the sauce. And I will tell you that though my sauce was delicious yesterday, it had way too many seeds. It was not appetizing looking. And so I just wanted to tell you, don't be afraid to get your hands dirty. Make your tomatoes, use your hands, be it one with the food, be it one with the earth, be it one with the masterpiece that nature gives you, and have a delicious sauce. So we'll continue on with that on Thursday, but right now with my dirty hands, I am going to introduce Brenda Prinzavalli. Brenda, how are you?
Great.
I'm so happy you're here.
I'm so excited to be here. And
So-
you know, I see all of these names, and so it's really nice to actually sort of see you all face to face.
Yes, I know Brenda is here a lot, and she does a lot for me and a lot for the Nanny Bubby enterprises. But she also, you know, speaking of tomatoes, these two tomato plants were given to me by Brenda. So the story goes, let me wipe my hands. The story goes, and it's a true story, is that last January of 2020, she brought me some seeds and a couple of plants, and she bought a very expensive grow light for me. And she said, I'm so excited to give you this birthday present, because my birthday's in January. And I tore through it. I could hardly wait to open it up, and I pulled it out, and I looked down, and I looked back up, and I looked down, and I said, oh, this is so nice, thank you. Like, thinking to myself, oh God, please help me. Like, I'm not a plant person. I'm not a grow your own vegetable person. I'm like, oh, gee, Brenda, thanks a lot. So she said, well, when you're ready, I will help you plant a seed. And only because I wanted to be polite and not let this gift go to waste or make her feel bad, I said, okay, how about next week we can plant some seeds? Oh, God, help me. I have to put my hands in soil anyway. Bottom line is, we planted those seeds. and within 4 days, those zucchini plants started to sprout, and then the arugula plants, and then these tomato plants. This is their second season, these tomatoes. And needless to say, 5 months later, I think I just locked this. Let me unlock it. I don't know how to unlock it. Once you lock it, I'm going to have to unplug it. Sorry about that. 5 days later, we went ahead and planted them in pots outside and transplanted them. And 5 months later, I built the big, beautiful bed that you now see. Now I've hired a farmer to help teach me and grow me, because Brenda took me as far as she can, but she's got other things to do. And so anyway, so many thanks to Brenda, because without her, the grow in Grow, Cook, Gather would never have been. So I'm very appreciative to you of that.
My pleasure. And you are just being the most amazing gardener. It's just such a thrill to see people starting out and planting their own and having success. Now, there were a few troubles here and there. We know that with white flies and aphids and that. But you quickly get over that. You find solutions. And now, I mean, look at the bounty that Nanny Bubby brings in to share with you so repeatedly. So if you're considering it, I would encourage you to go for it.
All right. So Lene says she can't hear us. So Lene, I just need to ask you, are you able to hear us now? I didn't have any headsets on today, but I think it should be better. I also want to mention that Lene became a grandmother yesterday, so I want to congratulate you, Lene. And also, Lene was our big cheese basket winner 2 weeks ago, and I contacted Wisconsin Cheese today and said, hey guys, what's up with Lene's and Frank's basket? And believe it or not, they sent me the UPS receipt that said that it had been lost in shipping. So it's melting somewhere in a warehouse, and they have packaged up 2 new cheese baskets for you and Frank today, to which I said they need to be sent overnight morning delivery. It's 113 degrees here. So Lene, I hope you heard all that, and congratulations on becoming a grandmother. And somebody needs to tell me if you can hear us or not, because I'm hoping you can. So that's that. And I'm waiting, so I can't hear you is what the last comment was. So we're gonna move on now, enough of the stories, and we're making Marcona style almonds today. And they're very expensive. Even at Trader Joe's, Marcona almonds are very expensive. But Brenda has just a great Marcona almond hack, and she's gonna teach me and you at the same time, so take it away.
All right. Well, you know, sometimes you say, gosh, why should I do this myself? Why should I take the time and effort? But I think it really falls in line with what your philosophy is, that the more you do it yourself and the more you make from scratch, you know what's in there. Because there are a lot of nuts and seeds out there that when they get processed commercially, they have really bad cottonseed oils and peanut oil and soy oil, and you don't know what's there. So when you make it yourself, you know exactly what's in it, and you get to put exactly what you want in it.
Right, exactly. And also seasoning them is amazing. Yes. So how do we start?
Okay, so the first thing, there's 3 stages that you go through in this process. And stage 1 and 3 are very hands-off, but stage 2, you get your hands dirty and you get a lot of things done. So when you start at stage 1, the very first thing that you need to do is you need to take some raw almonds, and I always say raw organic almonds. So make sure that is what you're getting. You don't want them dry roasted, you don't want them anything done to them, completely raw.
And so let's just circle around that. If we're looking for raw organic almonds, can you find them at Trader Joe's? Can you find them at Whole Foods, or do you have to order them online, or all that works?
No, you can find them commercially just at a regular grocery store. I order mine from a gal who does a one-time-a-year buy because there's a little less processing done in it. So that's just the one extra piece there. But I would be very comfortable getting raw organic almonds from Trader Joe's, Sprouts, Whole Foods, any one of those places.
Okay, alrighty.
So the very first part, which is really easy, and I'm going to let you do this.
Okay.
And that is just to take however much almonds you would like to process, and we're just going to start with 1 cup as an example, and you just put it in really good, clean water. So this is some Nanny Bubby's
filtered water, right?
Filtered water. Mm-hmm. And what you really need to make sure that you do is that you cover it, because they're going to plump. Because what you're doing is you're soaking them from anywhere from 24 to 48 hours. there's no magic moment or anything like that. It's just somewhere within that range.
And we want to say that you must put them in the refrigerator to soak them. So you must cover them and put them in the refrigerator to soak them so that you don't get mold starting to grow or whatever else might come.
It's just it's a good preservation while they become more hydrated. So it's a good idea just to go ahead and put them in the refrigerator at this phase and then at a second phase as well. And again, making sure that they're fully covered with water. You don't want to just go to the surface, because as they hydrate and plump, I personally have opened my fridge and found some peeking over the top of my water, and so it's a good idea the very first time that you do it to really go in and check a couple of times and just make sure that there is ample water, or just start way high.
Okay.
Either way. So, isn't that easy? Step 1.
Yes.
Almonds in water, let it sit for 24 to 48 hours.
Okay, so Frank has just noted in here. So Judy says she can hear us loud and clear. I think maybe Lene dropped out. Frank has said no notifications have gone out. So tell you what, everybody who is here, if you would just share this live on your own pages, then other people will see it. And so everybody who waits for these notifications today, which it didn't happen, every day is a new adventure with Facebook, then they'll know that we're on, they'll get the reminder. So if you can all just go ahead and share on your own Facebook page, Nanny Bubby Live today, then somebody will find us. Okay, go ahead.
Sounds good. So 24, 48 hours, whenever you're done with that, now what you have is you have some almonds that have been soaking. And it's a really good idea for even a lot of other seeds and nuts, because what it does is it opens them up and it hydrates them, and it makes all of the nutrients actually more readily available for you. So even if that's all you did, it's a great thing to do.
You know what I'd love to do is show the difference between the ones we just put in the water and these, how they plumped up. And if you don't mind, I'll just stick my hands in there. And these, you can see, are the ones that have not been soaked. We're just beginning to soak. And can you see the difference in the plump ones there? So the plump ones are barely shriveled at all. And then if you compare that to the shriveled one, can you guys see that? Give me a thumbs up if you can see that. Okay, there we go. All right, so let me not put the non-plump ones in there. Okay.
So the other thing just to be aware of also is that as soon as you do start soaking them, you have taken them from a non-perishable to a perishable item. And so what you really need to do is make sure that you're going to be doing something with them quite readily. Like I make almond milk out of it, but my almond milk then only lasts, 5 to 7 days. It's not like it can sit in the fridge for a lot longer. So just know that you are now transitioning these from non-perishable to perishable, and so it is time to do something with them.
Okay.
And that is?
I don't know.
Oh, well,
what is that?
Well, that is to strain them.
Okay.
So we take the water off and give them just a little bit of a rinse.
Okay.
And so...
And if you, I don't know if you guys need to see me do this. I can't pour it right here because obviously there's no sink there. But if you want to just turn that phone just a little bit, turn the camera, there we go. And it's not that big of a deal. You've seen me drain things before, but you can see that a lot of the brown color is coming out in the water. Do you need to give these a rinse?
Yep, I always give them just a little bit of a rinse, which is a good idea. And one of the things about almonds that I think is worth noting, especially right now when you see some of that brown come off, is that if people have any kind of, allergy, or they're a little bit almond insensitive,
okay, you can
or sensitive, you might say. Okay,
there we go.
Let's see, are we good right there?
Yeah, almost.
A little more. Okay.
I'll get the rest of the way. There we go.
That some of that comes off when you soak it, but it's really going to come off the minute we do the next step with it.
Okay.
Okay, so the next step is to get a pot boiling. In fact, I'll put this right over here.
Yep, there
Okay,
we go.
so you get rolling water boiling, and again, it just has to be enough so that it covers your almonds, because what you're going to do is you're going to put them in there for 60 seconds. That's it. 60 seconds.
Okay.
Real short. So we're setting a timer.
Okay.
So I'm going to turn the timer on. They're going to boil for 1 minute, and then you're going to immediately take them off and use that exact same metal strainer, not a plastic one, but you want to use a metal strainer so you don't melt it.
Right.
And then just strain them and run them under cold water. and then we'll do the next step.
Okay, so are we setting this
1
in, or
minute.
we're actually pouring them out?
Oh, pour them out.
Okay, so there we go.
Okay.
Okay.
60 seconds.
All right, she set the timer.
I set the timer.
Okay.
Exactly.
So while we're waiting, I just want to say a couple of things. So Frank, I don't know if you were here earlier. I was speaking to Lene, and I don't even know if Lene was here. But I reached out to Wisconsin Cheese today, and apparently they lost the cheese baskets that you and Lene won for the Wisconsin #Wisconsin Cheese Contest. They actually sent me the confirmation page from UPS that said, look, it got lost in shipping. Go figure. And they are sending them out today. I did tell them that it is 113 degrees here, and it would not be appreciated if they sent them today. That they needed to be sent overnight morning delivery. So as soon as you get them, by all means, reach out and let me know. And we look forward. Frank is going to be on the air with us on Friday.
Yes.
And if he gets his Wisconsin cheese, he's going to do a little something with all that cheese. And I also, while we're waiting for the buzzer to ring, want to remind you that we're having a summer barbecue tournament. And week 1 is this week, and it's appetizers and snacks. So go into Gather with Nanny Bubby Facebook group and post your pictures and recipes for snacks and appetizers for the outdoor barbecue. We pick the winner on Friday. Wednesday, you get to pick with me. Okay, Brenda is...
Go ahead and just strain them here. And it's always one of those things, I don't know, my mother always taught me this, that whenever you pour hot water down the sink,
Yeah.
you should also always, along with it, run some cold water.
Really?
Just because then, you know, especially if it's going through a garbage disposal, you're not creating a problem down there with boiling water down your drain.
Oh wow! So I've been taught just the opposite. That,
Oh.
that it's really good for the sink to pour straight boiling water
Oh.
down it, because if you've got any oils or if you've got anything caught in the garbage disposal or the drain, the boiling water will get rid of it right away.
Well, I would love to know what the answer is on
I
that.
know. So what I would say to that is do both. Like sometimes just put the boiling water down, and other times just put the cold water and the boiling water. So I don't know. We'll unplug this and turn this back, and I will move this off. There we go. Okay. And so just saying to everybody, we will pick the winner on Friday. The way that you enter is just, I count up everybody's post and Gather with Nanny Bubby. And if you make a post on your ideas for outdoor barbecue, summer barbecue tournament ideas, and then it enters you to win in the hat. I pull the name out of the hat, and then you and I will be making together what you choose to make for the summer barbecue with me on Wednesday. If you don't want to be live on TV or live on air with me, I understand a lot of people have an aversion to being on camera. No big deal. But you can just kind of walk me through the recipe. So you can either cook with me or talk to all of us and tell me how I'm doing on the Wednesday. The week 2 is June 21st through the 23rd, and we're doing summer barbecue salads. So that's it. Just a reminder for everybody. I'll remind you again at the end of this. Okay, next.
Good.
Lisa said hi, Brenda.
Hi,
Okay.
Okay, so the next step, what you want to do is you want to get yourself a deep bowl. Don't try and do this on a plate, because you'll see in just a minute why. Now, what I want to show you is that in here, see the one that already has the skin that popped off?
Oh.
That is what we're going to do. So we're going to take
Did it just pop off naturally from hot water?
And so here's a little piece of skin.
Okay.
So what happens is now that they have been parboiled or just have that little, all you do is you just kind of snap them. You just, in your finger, but you got to do it down in the bowl.
So are you snapping from the narrow end first or the fat end?
You know, it's some go one way or some go the other. And that is exactly why.
Did you guys see that? Okay, watch this.
Because they just kind of pop. And so, you know, I think this would be a really fun thing to do. I mean, get some kids with clean hands, you know, and wouldn't that be fun to have them? Because you just kind of have to massage them a little, and if it doesn't go, you just pop a little bit of the corner of the skin off. So as you just kind of pop it, it just slides off, and this is the skin.
Okay.
That
oh my God.
comes off.
Biggie cannot jump off the bed anymore because he's too old, and he is crying right now.
Oh.
So I'll let you continue talking to all of our
Okay.
gatherers, and I'll be right back. And Biggie will be barking, I know.
So they do pop around. I know the first time like I said, I was on a plate and they were just kind of shooting all over the place, and I had to keep gathering them. So that is why if you put it down deep into a bowl, that as you're doing it, then they'll just come right off. Now, you'll find, I kind of got a few little routines going where I'd like pop like 2 or 3 in my hands at a time and just collect the skin in my hand, so it wasn't every single one. But it ends up going fast. It seems like, gosh, wouldn't that take a long time? But it's not too bad. And then after a while, what you collect is just all the skin that has come off, and you have these nice, beautiful, blanched, skinless almonds, which whenever you get Marcona almonds, which are from Spain, they are blanched. They have no skin on them.
And I thought Marcona was more of a process, but it's not. Did you explain that Marcona is actually from an area? Did you explain that?
It is from Spain, and they are a little bit sweeter and a little bit smaller. So the next time we go into Trader Joe's, I think you're right, we need to find out, is it actually Marcona?
I have a feeling it is, because they're quite expensive even in Trader Joe's. So I have a feeling that maybe it really is Marcona almonds, or it may say Marcona style. I don't know. But if you have ever been in there, you literally, they have a truffle oil and sea salt Marcona that is to die for, and then they have a rosemary and sea salt Marcona. These are easier to peel than you would think. I mean, literally, these are just, boy, I've spent the last couple of days using my hands and totally
Peeling.
between the tomatoes and the almonds. But I will tell you, there is nothing like getting dirty and being truly at one with the food.
So once you get done with this, now this is all still part of the middle stage, you might say too, where after they're done soaking, you're gonna boil them for a minute, you're gonna peel them, and so now comes the really fun part of deciding what kind of flavor you want on them.
Oh, I love that.
There's so many choices, and so one of the things that's a little bit different also, if you just take a regular almond with the skin and you try and season it, it won't stick very well. And I've even tried like putting oil on it and then put seasoning, and it sort of does, but not as readily as these, because these have a little bit now of kind of dampness to it. You know how like, I don't know if it's part of it, but it doesn't feel like it's just water. So when you do that, the seasoning that you use will stick to it more readily. So either you don't have to use as much oil, or, obviously, if it's really good oil, there's no harm in using that. But if you're trying to not use any oil, that's fine as well. So now that they're all peeled and popped and the skin is all off.
Are we gonna go through all of them? Are we gonna make all of them?
We don't need to, because we have some that are already at the next place.
Okay, all right. Well, you
can.
go ahead. I'm going to keep going. I am
Okay.
been at one with the earth here for the last couple days, so I'm going to just keep going. Okay, Costco has them too, Lisa says, the Marcona almonds. And so are they Marcona or are they Marcona style? Do you have them, Lisa? Can you look at the bag?
Oh, that's good to know.
Yeah, just take a look, because that's what we're trying to figure out. Okay, let me turn this just a little bit. Oop, wrong way.
So now you, again, have choices. You can either just roast them that way plain with no salt, no oil, no nothing. Or, as we said, it's kind of fun. You put a little bit of spice, a little bit of oil, and of course, what are we using?
Temecula olive oil, and we're using the fresh lime. Just put it just a little bit close so they can see the label.
So this one is the fresh lime.
Which is so delicious. And if you remember, Tom from Temecula Olive Oil taught us while we were all there visiting him, and I know I kind of feel like you were there with me, so he taught all of us at the same time. But their olive oil is not infused. Their olive oil is actually pressed. So pressed with fresh lime, so that's actually amazing. So Lindsay Bernay is here with her daughter Bryce. Hey Brycey, hey Lindsay, thank you for being here. Okay.
So now what you want to do is marinate it. And so this one was just a marinade of the fresh lime olive oil and some smoked sea salt. And we let it marinate for just about 12 hours. You can do 12, 20, whatever length of time. You know, there's not like that magic moment where if you don't take it out of the refrigerator, you're in trouble. But you would, again, this is when you put it back in the fridge and you're gonna marinate it. Now, one of the things just in doing this batch that I realized is that they actually taste really good just after being marinated. But you can do the second step or the last
As long as the marinating happens in the refrigerator.
Oh, yes.
Because when they're raw, oh no, I wanted to taste those.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I want to test your theory that they taste good. Yeah, okay.
So try one of those.
And this is the lime and sea salt?
Mm-hmm. Smoked sea salt.
They're good, but they're a little soggy.
Yeah.
They're chewy. Chewy like almonds that have been
soaked.
Exactly.
Soaked and boiled, exactly. So now, you know, putting it back in so that it is doing a little bit of marinating and it really gets those flavors into the almonds. And you can pick whichever kind of combination you want. You know, we did fresh lemon, and we did fresh lemon with the dukkha seasoning from the olive oil, Temecula olive oil, and then we did one that was garlic, basil, and just olive oil, and then we did another one that was actually trying to mimic what you find at the store, and that's the truffle oil with rosemary.
It was so incredible.
Really good.
So
now,
what are we gonna do now?
Well, I'm gonna get them out of the oven, and then I'm gonna tell you that you can also make them, these are savory, you can also make them sweet. But let's try, you just tried this one, raw. Right. Let me get them out of the oven.
Okay.
Because what you do then after they're done marinating, oh, that's really
But are we gonna show how to marinate them? We're gonna show, how to season them and then put them on the...
All I did for these, because they're in a nice glass jar with a tight lid, is I put however many I wanted in for that, you know, for that particular flavor. And then I just put the flavor in, shake it up with the lid here, and then actually just a couple of times, so then just...
So let's show them. We've got enough right here, right? Let's do, which olive oil is that? Fresh lemon?
This is the
fresh lemon. And that is, so I ordered my Temecula olive oils today. So let's do lemon and rosemary. What is that? What is that? Or do we have to, no, we don't have to even cut that up, do we? Or how about lemon and dried oregano?
Oh.
Grab that right over there. Okay, so what we're gonna do, from my garden. So we're just gonna sprinkle a little bit of fresh lemon on here. Okay, and let's just take some dried oregano. So I don't wanna get it all over everything, but we're just gonna go the opposite direction into my hand. There we go. And we're gonna just...
Smells good.
I know, doesn't it? So good. Now we'll just take that off and put it right in. And then I think that oregano and lemon probably needs a little bit of salt, so we'll just take the smoked sea salt. That sounds really good, doesn't it?
It does.
And don't be afraid of over salting them, and I'm gonna tell you why. Something that we noticed is that the salt tends to decompress over time, and so I just added just a little bit more, and that's it to the marinade. And so now what I would do is just put them in a glass jar and put them in the refrigerator overnight, or for, if it's the morning, I would do it for 6, 7, 8 hours. And then we would roast them. So there you go.
So just put it on a sheet pan with some parchment paper. And what happens is, depending upon the temperature that your oven will go down to. Now, truly they say, go down to 150. My oven doesn't go down any lower than 170, so I roast mine at 170. Sometimes with the oils on it, I found that I actually increase it to about 200 degrees. But what you're gonna do is you're gonna slow roast these anywhere from 7 to 12 hours. So don't worry that they're not getting done, because it takes a little while to get them done. So after they marinate, and then you put them on the sheet pan, put them into the oven. Now the thing is that they can marinate until the time that it is really best for you to put it in the oven. And I say that because Sometimes when I get up nice and early in the morning, I have it all ready to go, and that's the first thing I do. I turn the oven on and I put it in so that I know before the day is over and before I call it a night, I can actually take them out of the oven. You said that you've actually done it one time overnight, right?
I did. I went to bed at 200 degrees, and, and when I woke up, I pulled them out of the oven. And actually, one time, I did put them at 175, and I went to bed with them in the oven, and I forgot about them until, actually, when I was making sun-dried tomatoes that were not sun-dried but roasted in the oven, and I completely forgot to take them out of the oven. So those tomatoes roasted for like 15 hours.
Oh, the almonds did, yes.
Yeah.
So then, once they've finished roasting, now it's time to taste them.
Oh, I'm up for tasting them. Lisa also said that she doesn't have any at home right now, but next time she goes, she'll check whether they're Marcona or Marcona style. Okay.
So we had done several flavors here. And so we have, this is the lime and sea salt, this is the lemon and dukkha, and this is the truffle and the rosemary. So they're gonna get just a little bit browner, not too much. But the other thing that I have noticed is that sometimes it takes, you gotta taste it. And once you take it out of the oven, sometimes there's a little bit more drying that happens. So if it's not quite 100% crispy crunchy, go ahead and pull it out. I mean, if it's been in there for, 8 to 10 hours, you're in good shape. So do you want to try one now roasted compared to the raw one that you had?
Yes,
Okay.
Let me mix these up. Okay, which is this?
This is the lemon and smoked sea salt.
Okay, ready? Lemon or lime? Lime?
Oh, lime. Oh, good taste. Good taste.
Yeah.
Yes, the lemon was on this one.
Okay. And this is a dukkha, which is the Middle Eastern spice I'd never heard of, but my good buddy Yotam Ottolenghi told me about dukkha, so when I saw it at Temecula Olive Oil Company, I bought it. I'm putting 2 in my mouth because I can't resist. I like dukkha.
Very good.
I didn't know I liked dukkha.
Sorry, we should trade off eating and talking, right?
It's so good.
So here's the other thing that happens.
And this is rosemary and?
Truffle oil.
Truffle oil and rosemary. Oh my God. Can you believe this?
And a little bit of salt. So what happens also is, remember that we started with them as non-perishable. Then we soaked them and they became perishable.
Right.
Now when they turn, after you're finished roasting them, they turn back to being non-perishable. I mean, for a certain amount, Yeah, I've had some that...
You don't want to get stale.
Right, But you also don't want to put them in a sealed container now. You want to let them breathe, only because there's enough moisture in them and moisture from the oils that if you put them in a container with the lid on tight, they're going to start to get soggy and chewy.
Well, that may be true here in the desert, but we have a lot of people that are joining us from the East Coast and the Midwest. What about all those areas with high humidity? Then in those areas, do you need to put them in sealed, open containers or sealed containers? Because there's so much moisture in those areas. I'm looking for your, oh, right there.
There they are, right there. I think that's a really good question, and I'm not sure what would be the best approach there. Sometimes we get spoiled by things being so dry here that
Yeah.
it just...
But I feel like when you put them in uncovered, and you do that in a really high humidity place, then what happens to them is they get soggy from all that humidity. And I think maybe, your environment. If you're from New York or New Jersey or Iowa, Chicago, where there's a lot of humidity, you know whether or not things should be in a sealed container or not a sealed container. So here in Las Vegas, we always put them in non-sealed containers to dry them out, and in sealed containers to keep them moist. So I think in those high humidity areas, it's just the opposite. So there's all the almonds that we peeled. That was fun to peel those. Here's all the skins. I put them in with the tomato skins and seeds that I took off just a little bit earlier. And now you said that there's things to do with the skin. So let's talk about the skins.
Yes. So these are, I just put them in the oven when I'm roasting, and it's much shorter than a full almond because all you need to do is kind of dry them out. And then what happens is they become dried almond skin. And so they don't look much different, but I don't know, can you hear them crunching? Can you see them crunching? And so what I do is I take them and put them in a food processor or a Vitamix and just grind them up. So now this could be used, like let's say you want an almond crusted whitefish, or you want to add them into some muffins that you're making and you want to use it as a flour alternative. I wouldn't 100% use this, but it's just a nice way to make use of it instead of throwing it away. You know, I'm always all about how can you extend and make use of every part that you have. And so I've done that. I've put them into muffins and all kinds of different things, and they're just a really great way to not just throw that part away.
So now, would you consider these marinated just for the few minutes that we've been sitting here doing this, or would you put them in the refrigerator and for a few hours? Yeah.
I would, you know, I mean, it's gonna, as with anything, when you marinate it, the longer you marinate it, the more flavor is going to be infused in there. Now, granted, the roasting is going to help it infuse a little bit more, but you know, I would say it's kind of a personal choice, and it depends what you do. Like, for example, the ones that I roasted, let me show you these. These are the dessert ones, because these are this is cinnamon and salt. And then this one is cacao powder, coconut oil, pumpkin pie spice, and a little bit of salt.
It's so good. She just put a little bit out, and it's a good thing because I would have eaten all of them.
So it's just really nice to, you know, then have the savory and the sweet. And I you know, when I have a gathering.
Wait, what is that one?
That one is just cinnamon and salt.
Cinnamon and salt.
And as you said, I know the first time she tasted it needed a little bit more salt. Sometimes I kind of err on the side of less salt, which I shouldn't. I know I should.
When it comes to butter and salt, just throw it in. You can
I
never
know,
have too much.
But, you know, like at a party, of just having a couple of dishes of the different flavors, so it's sweet and savory, and so I love those.
The thing that I've learned is that with kosher salt, you don't have to worry about there ever being too much. It just tempers itself out. Sorry, I'm talking with my mouth full because it's my turn to talk, but I'm still chewing and enjoying. I need a little drink. It's so fantastic. And what else did you make?
So the other ones that I made, these are garlic. So I chopped some garlic into fine little mince, and put in some dried opal basil and some olive oil, and let that marinate, and then roasted that. And so that garlic just really has a nice flavor to it. And then this is just completely roasted plain. Once we took the skin off, they just were roasted.
So no oil, no salt, nothing, just roasted. Look and they're brown too. They're not white the way that the other ones are. They have little roasting, you can see it. They're brown, or I hope you can see it anyway. So let's see how those are. That will really just bring out the flavor of just an almond. What?
Just the almond.
Oh, did you hear that? They're really delicious. Okay.
And then the ones in the center are just some of the raw organic almonds that I soaked for 24, 48 hours and just roasted them for, mine always takes a little bit longer, but about 8 to 10 hours. And so there's absolutely nothing on these as well. So if you're somebody who likes things plain, you can still do this. If you're somebody who likes savory, if you want sweet, no matter what the flavor is that you want, if you have a...
Tell me what this is again. It's cacao. What else?
Pumpkin pie spice blend, coconut oil, and salt.
The salt with the cacao on this is just like amazing.
Yeah.
It really is. It's so good.
And one of the last times that I made it, I didn't use a coconut oil. And so it was more kind of that dusted with the cacao powder instead of it looking like it's partially covered, partially chocolate covered, you know.
That's amazing.
So you can, just to show you, I mean, there's just so many different flavors, so many different combinations, and it might even be really fun that no matter what you're having, like let's say you're having a gathering, and that whatever spices you use on the almonds that you roast sort of as that little nibble as people come in the door and they're getting a cocktail, and that it will actually get them ready for the seasoning and the flavor that you're actually going to be having for your meal.
And I just want to say that's one of the reasons you actually don't salt what you're serving until, or season what you're serving until the last moment. So, and by that I mean if you're making a pasta, let's say a pomodoro pasta, and you served as an appetizer asparagus, I'm just pulling things out of my head here, but asparagus rolls with smoked salmon around them. So now somebody has taken a really big bite of something that's very, very salty. And so their taste buds have attuned themselves to the saltiness of the salmon. And so what you want to do is you want to taste your sauce after you've eaten your appetizers, so that to you, whose taste buds now are mirroring your guests, then your sauce, you will know, does it need more salt or a little more pepper? Is it that you had too much salt, so you need less in the sauce? Or is it that you are attuned to salt and now nothing tastes right unless it has that level of salt? And believe me, it depends. So what kind of cheese did you put with the salmon and the asparagus? And if that cheese brought your buds down, you know, it's all in that moment as where you are. Are you drinking a really, really rich, sweeter, like a rosé or something like that? Then you then you can attune yourself, but you start. So I always love to say, what am I cooking as the main course? And then I think to myself, okay, how can I bring everyone from appetizerville into main courseville with them wanting more of those flavors? And so when you do your own Marcona almonds or Marcona style almonds, so that people that live in Marcona don't get mad at us, that you can literally say, okay, I'm having a dish with a lot of rosemary in it, and I really want to start tuning their taste buds towards that oregano, like this, which we made with the dried oregano in it, or the rosemary, and then you can literally make your Marcona almonds coming to it. And likewise, how about this? Just for a simple dessert, how about a scoop of vanilla ice cream, 2 scoops of vanilla ice cream, sprinkled with the cacao coconut salt. Oh my God. And then a little bit of caramel sauce. Oh my God. Do I admit that I do that? That would be absolutely fantastic. So lots of great ideas. Thank you so much. Did you show that?
I did.
We did.
Yep. Because we were sampling off of it.
Okay. Any questions? Just waiting for some questions. I just want to remind you that this is week 1 of the contest. I'm going to ask all of you to go into Gather with Nanny Bubby and tag Lene Hoge, Hoge, and I just eludes me her middle name there. It's probably her maiden name, but she became a grandmother yesterday for the very first time. So we are a community of people who care about each other and are always there for each other. So jump over to Gather with Nanny Bubby and congratulate and tag Lene on becoming a grandmother for the very first time. How exciting. And I think she dumped out because she couldn't hear us today, so let her know her cheese basket is on the way. Friday, we have Frank, who's going to be here and cook with us. That Frank, you got to watch out for him. And I'm really looking forward to meeting him for the first time because I don't know him, but I'm getting to know him. He's got a great sense of humor, I'm finding out, as are all of you. This week we are doing appetizers and snacks for summer barbecue. Appetizers and snacks. Next week will be summer barbecue salads. Week after that, summer barbecue main dishes and side dishes, week 4. And again, hey Jennifer Tuttle, what we do is every time you post a recipe or a picture, and it needs to be active. Cannot just be something that you're just taking pictures of like in a book and then just posting them so you get a lot of entries this week. But get in there, and if you can't cook it and you're not cooking it fresh, then the way that you get to enter is take a picture of that recipe in your favorite cookbook, and then in the narrative, talk about when you've made it, what you've done with it. Tell us something. Don't just post. It's not Instagram, it's Facebook. So tell us about how you made it, when you made it the first time, why it's important to you, why you love to have it on your summer barbecue. Really put your heart and your soul and just tell us like it really is, and then you're entered into the hat on Friday. I pull out the winning name and you get to cook that recipe with me on Wednesday. And if you don't want to be on the air with me, then you can just chat me through it right here on Facebook. So, yes, Frank, I think I do mean you. Okay, so I think everybody means you, Frank. You do it again, you're going to end up back on the air with me for another episode. No, I'm just kidding. So Jennifer says, let's see, I can't even see it. Oops, forgot it was 3 p.m. No, Jennifer, it's not you. Facebook, for whatever reason, did not send out notifications today. So jump over, congratulate Lene on becoming a grandmother yesterday for the very first time. Post your pictures as many times, and your recipes and your narrative that goes along with it, as many as you'd like. Put all your names in the hat, and then you get to decide which recipe I'm going to cook on Wednesday. That's it. Anything else?
No, I was just thinking when you're talking about barbecue that wouldn't it be fun that if you're having a party and you have different heat levels of your barbecue sauce or barbecue spices, to do 3 variations of that with almonds and let people know this is light, this is medium, and this is hot, and just to see what their tolerance level is, and then they might know which kind of sauce to use on their barbecue at your party.
Right. So if you say, if you want to try the sauces, and before I put it on your wings, you want light, medium, or spicy, right? And so then they'll know which sauce they're going to want. That's a great idea. I love that idea. You entered a win.
Oh, okay.
Go over to Gather with Nanny, Bubby, and post that idea.
All right.
And maybe post a really spicy barbecue sauce. Do you have one?
I don't. Don't have a lot of heat tolerance.
Yeah, okay.
So I tend to do the more mild.
Okay, post a mild one. And that becomes, now your barbecue sauces become an appetizer idea. Right?
Yeah.
Yep. Or a snack. These are snacks. Yep. So that's great. All right, everybody. That's it for today. Let's see. I always like to look and see how long we were on. Oh my goodness, almost 50 minutes. That's a long time. It was getting longer and longer every day. Yesterday was an all-time record. Oh, did my back hurt afterwards. But I learned a lot. And if you go back to the beginning stages of this video, you'll be able to see that, it's getting your hands dirty, whether it's peeling the almonds or whether it is getting those seeds out of the tomatoes. It's all about getting one with your food and taking your hands and just feeling it and then cooking it for your family with love, right?
Absolutely.
With love changes the flavor of everything. So with that, on the count of 3, everybody, you gonna do it with me?
Of course.
Tom, come over here and do it with us. Nobody can see you. Come over. Come on. The counter is a great thing. No one knows what we're wearing under the counter. Okay. Oops, come in.
There we go.
All right. Say
Hello.
hi. Hi. No, come this way. Hi, everybody. Say.
Hi, everybody.
Okay, ready? On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Go out. No, go out.
out
And
and
spread love like butter.
Butter.
Bye, everybody. Thanks for being here. You want to blow everybody a kiss? Do you do that? Oh.
There we go.
All right, everybody. Thanks for being here. Okay, here we go.